Hello everyone, welcome to our new episode of Dubai Realtors Expert Opinion. Today we have with us Miss Elena Adamko from Parasol Real Estate. Let's have a conversation with her and let us see what expertise she has. Miss Elena, welcome to our show. Please introduce your expertise in Dubai Real Estate.
Hello, my name is Alina. I'm the General Manager of Parasol Real Estate. I've been in Dubai for 12 years and the past 5 years I'm doing real estate business. When you talk about the expertise, I've been a realtor who's around the market for a while and I've seen the Dubai's landscape evolve, the preferences of the clients change, and I can say that I'm more focused on the complex approach when we're talking about investments. I'm building real estate portfolios for my clients. Usually it's a selection between off-plan units and ready units from the key performing areas. So the client can benefit on a long run from both capital appreciation and return on investment. Of course, most of the clients, they want to have it all in at once, but we're always customizing the approach for the client according to the budget, according to the vision of the client, according to the cash flow. And when we're talking about the ready units, I have my assistant with me who never sleeps. She can always back me up on any stock needed.
Elena, when it comes to creating a portfolio for your investors, how will you categorize your investor basically? What thumb rule do you have?
Well, when we're talking about investment, it's about capital gain and return on investment. As I mentioned, some clients, they want a lot of it, but we always, as specialists, we have to sit and explain to the client that patience is the key, especially in nowadays market. Mm-hmm. So basically, those who are investing in off-plan, they are mainly targeting the capital appreciation. Back in the days, you could quickly resell a unit and gain in no time, say in 1 month's time, you can gain a handsome premium. At the moment, you have to be more patient. Most of the investors nowadays, even if they are buying off-plan, they are keeping the units to resell on handover. Mm-hmm. So for example, if the initial capital input was lower due to the special payment plan, mm-hmm. The unit can be resold on handover and the one who acquires it pays the most of the amount. Mm-hmm. So the capital appreciation comes quite much because the input was low. Mm-hmm. Some others, they are patient and they are renting the units once handed over, especially if there is a post-handover payment plan, then your ROI is quite high. When you're talking about ready units, in ready units, it depends on the initial purchase price and the location, because nowadays we have so many new developments and existing developments, they are striving to maintain their values rather than increase in the capital. But they are seen as well-performing return on investment 8 to 10% day in, day out. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is, I would say nowadays the market is for the patient ones. It's a long-term game.
Once you determine what kind of investor the person is, then comes how do you finalize the property? Will you go for will you take an emotional approach or will you take a logical approach in finalizing the property?
That's a very interesting question. Thanks a lot. I would say there is no major conflict between logic and emotions, or if that arises, it can be sorted. Mm-hmm. I'll bring an example. I had a European client who wanted to buy a villa on Jumeirah Road. This is a non-freehold area, so by his nationality he could not actually purchase it, yes. Mm-hmm. But he was insisting on the area because the school of the kids was in the neighborhood and so on. Mm-hmm. So what I suggested him to take the budget and distribute it in investing in smaller units, which were bringing steady 8% net return. Mm-hmm. It was a very good approach because when the client decided to relocate back to Europe, he sold 2 apartments and kept the other 2 working for him. So obviously he could not, slice a villa. Yeah. And at the same time, we found this balance between logic and emotion. Mm-hmm. I could bring the same example about the Vastu compliant properties. When between 2 equally attractive properties, the client mm-hmm. will choose the one which has the correct orientation to enable wealth and abundance. Mm-hmm. Or Chinese buyers who refuse to deal with anything which has to do with number 4, which is the sign of death and stagnation. But as I always say, there is no problem without solution. So if the client opens up, we can always tailor the result.
So please everyone, whenever you are speaking with property consultant, make sure you give all your criteria very clearly so that agent will be able to assist you in a better way. Developers are offering 3 years payment plan, 5 years payment plan. Some have come up with 7 and some even providing 10 years. So what is your understanding whether the person should go for short-term installments or they should go for a long-term installment?
When it comes to modes of payment, it depends a lot on clients' financial status. So some clients, they have a steady cash flow and they are happy to pay 1% per month or 1.5% per month. In this type of products, I would say when you're paying, let's bring a general example, let's say 50% in installments before handover.
During construction.
Yeah, and post handover, you're paying another, let's say 3 years in 1%, 1.5%. If you're keeping the unit, this will bring you a good ROI, especially the first year you'll collect versus the invested amount around 15%, decreasingly to 12, 10, 7 for the subsequent years. That's good for those who have cash. But if we're talking about the end users and those who don't really have savings, a great help are the options rent to own, where the developer is splitting the 25% initial down payment needed into 3 years rental. So basically the person can move in, rent the property, and the rental value will be calculated towards the purchase
down
of the
payment.
property. Exactly. And then the 75%, according to the central bank, it can be mortgaged. When you're talking about 7-10 years payment plan, it's a monthly EMI. Who can carry what amount? Because if you're taking a mortgage and if you're a young age, you can afford to mortgage a property for 20-25 years, obviously your monthly EMI will be much smaller rather than you're taking long payment plan from the developer, because 10 years will be monthly amount much higher. So it has to be tailored indeed. It has to be tailored.
So it differs and depends on the person's financial capacity. Elena, we have established developers. We have new developers coming with unique properties and unique concept. How will you make a decision whether you should go for an established developer or you should go for a unique project which is unique in its many ways? So how will you take a decision?
Well, at the moment, all the properties, all the projects, they are having escrow accounts. So it's no longer one escrow account per developer, where developer could reshuffle the funds and many issues happened previously in the market. Nowadays, each project has own escrow account, so the risk is very minimum of a developer going wrong, because the funds are received by the developer according to the progress of construction, and if at any point, God forbid, there is some issues with the project, it can be forfeited and reassigned to any other developer. So this risk is, let's say, eliminated. Now, if we're considering between established developers, you have a track record from them. They are building full communities. They are handpicking the best locations, and they are giving post-handover maintenance, because the post-handover maintenance, this is what helps the property sustain for a long time and capitalize as well. At the same time, when you're talking about smaller developers or new developers with unique concepts, they are taking this extra mile to gain clients' trust. So they're also worth considering, because they still have to prove themselves in front of the client. They're giving special payment plans, special prices, and so many offers. So me being a conservative person, I'm always doing the due diligence on behalf of my client, and I'm going with a project where my client can make money. I am going with the liquid projects, those which are easy to rent, easy to resell, will be in demand. I'm always looking on how will the property perform after some time, because selling for the moment is not difficult. You have to always foresee the future of this property.
Elena, what factors one should keep in mind before finalizing the property? Can you name us few, please?
Of course. There are few factors, and I'll consolidate on them. So I believe the first one is location, location, location.
Thumb rule: location, location, location.
Indeed, because how liquid the project will be, where is the demand driven, can you rent this property, sell it later on. So you always have to look at the sentiment in the market. Where is the attention attracted to? At the same time, there are some new areas which have projected great futures. You may also consider. Here you do your due diligence, of course. The second thing would be the developer. So as we discussed earlier, either you go with a big name, a brand name, which already has track record, or you go with the newer developers, but you have to look at the, at the factors which are related to the property and
the project.
To the project itself, yes.
Okay.
The third one will be the budget. So basically, with the same amount of money, you can either buy 2 smaller units or 1 larger. It can be off plan, it can be ready. The fourth one will be considering off-plan versus ready properties. Some buyers are conservative. They are afraid that off-plan properties might not be delivered or not delivered on time or not with the same quality as announced. So they prefer to buy in existing areas, even though some of the properties are aging in time and so on. So it's quite better to buy
higher maintenance.
So in some cases, it's even better to buy off-plan because
the demand, brand new.
Yeah, and the demand is driven to the new projects. Honestly, I mean, whatever we see in the market. Last but not least is when you're selecting within the project itself is height of the floor and the view. So if we're talking about the high-rise towers, is the higher the better. But in some cases, when it's overlooking the water, being closer to the water, like with the fountain views, it's it's
lower
better to be lower, yes. Anytime you're having, even if it's a tower in a desert, even if you're having a pool view, it's already better than road view or construction or community
next building view.
Yeah, so golf view, pool view, sea view, landmark view, it all will capitalize your property and it will help you rent it faster and in higher price.
A property with a view is always better with the property which is not having a view. Influence of social media has increased on the society. Every developer coming with new projects, people are aware of it. I'm sure you might be having your own channels to update your customer and our customers. So please tell us about your favorite channels and how can we get the updates.
Yes, you're right. The span of attention is falling nowadays. It only takes 7 seconds to stand apart and to catch the interest of a person. I prefer visual content, honestly. I'm myself driving always between meeting to meeting, so it's whether audio content like podcast, audiobooks, or visual like YouTube. I myself started blogging recently to share my experience and knowledge with my viewers. I'm blogging in both Russian and English languages. I can be found on Dubai Property Expert. But apart from visual, also short, concise information with the key points to be shared can be found on Instagram, on Facebook. In Dubai, Twitter works very well as well. Yeah. I haven't mastered it yet. I'm still on the way. So yeah, I believe in visual.
But people can get regular updates from our Twitter account, Dubai Top 10 Deals.
It's a great chance to mention it, and I will also master it. Yeah. Most welcome to my social media platforms named Dubai Property Expert. I'll be happy to get your questions and provide you with answers.
Already, Elena has created her YouTube channel, and you have wonderful videos and topics. I'm sure you people will love it. Thank you, Elena. Thanks for giving us time and sharing your views and expertise with our viewers. I'm sure viewers will love this conversation, and please do like, subscribe and share the content that you find on our YouTube channel.